Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast. Time to hashtag everything. We talk about all the fun, crazy stories on social media. From Instagram to Facebook, Twitter to Tumblr, or probably even Friendster. Join us each week as we explore the quirky side of social media. It's the Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast.
It's simple, such a sad song. The one that we rely on to get us.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Heidi, and I'm joined by the wonderful Ariane.
Hello.
We are back together again, and
Finally.
I'm so glad.
Me too.
It is a relief, really. We are going to be talking about a couple different social media news stories. I want to start one off with a story that I think is pretty cute. We have heard about Alaska before because they had an earthquake, a really big earthquake too, and I am really glad. I heard that no one was injured,
wow.
which is good. Just
Yeah.
because I think it's a big earthquake, but there just aren't that many people there.
I totally didn't even hear about the earthquake thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, it's in Alaska, so there aren't a lot of people there, so maybe that's why
They're fine.
that was an issue, or maybe that's why you didn't hear about it.
Yeah.
But this is a story that I think is a little uplifting. If you're getting a little sad about Alaska news for whatever reason, this is a story that you might find more entertaining. So, apparently, there is a couple in Alaska, Kyle Stoltz and Allie Johnstone, and they were shocked on Wednesday morning when the doorbell on their home, they're in Anchorage, Alaska, it just kept ringing. And
Right.
I think they were kind of like, I feel like a lot of residents probably feel this way, but after the earthquake, they were just trying to like lay low, just like collect yourselves, make sure everything's fine, no
Right.
property damage. So they were very confused when this happened, and were concerned that there was just something else wrong,
Kids doorbell
Yeah,
ditching, probably.
exactly. Some issues they didn't want to have to deal with.
Right.
So Kyle went to go check on his dogs, see if they were causing any problem. He looked out the door, but he didn't see any signs of anyone. There was no one out there, like little peephole you're looking
Yeah.
out. So there was no one there, which was very strange to him. And he actually thought the same thing you did, Ariane, that there were like kids coming through, like playing ding dong ditch, or maybe a neighbor came through and just like, I don't know, was scared to talk to them or something. Like just rang the doorbell and left.
We've all done that.
Well, I don't know, bringing cookies or confessing deep feelings, whatever it might be. And then you decide to just leave.
Yeah, you're like, wait, change my mind.
Yeah, like, oh,
Run
not
back
time
to
for that
her.
today.
Exactly.
But they looked at security footage of their door, and apparently there was a moose that was coming in to ring their doorbell.
Oh my gosh, how big was this moose?
It was a big moose. I mean, like, what's the plural of moose? Mooses?
I think it's just moose for both ways.
Oh, you're right. I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, moose are very big. And what actually happened was a moose went in. It's like the door was kind of under a like covered garage.
Right.
So like a car was in there, and then you had to go past the car to get to the door. And it kind of looks like the moose sort of went into the garage, but kind of got a little stuck and like nervous because
Right.
it's a small space, and it had like kind of backed into it. So it ended up backing right into the doorbell.
Yeah.
So it was like a moose is behind that was ringing the doorbell.
Like when you butt dial someone,
Yeah.
it's like
Your butt doorbell ringing.
Exactly.
And so the moose like rang the doorbell multiple times while in this tiny space, and then like managed to like walk out. And so by the time they went to go look, there was nothing there.
That's
So the
hilarious.
poor moose was probably just like trying to like walk back and forth, like, why
Right.
can I not get past this car?
Or he was trying to get under there to stay warm because it's like you said, it
maybe.
is freezing in Alaska.
Yeah, it's cold. Maybe he was just looking for shelter. Or friends. I don't know.
Friends with the car.
It just saw the car, and maybe it saw its reflection and thought, oh, another moose.
I know, huh? And then realized it was him.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was like,
good.
oh, well, I'm just going to leave.
Well, you might not think he did look that
Yeah,
good.
maybe looking at his behind from the car reflection.
Right, there
I
you
don't know. So the moose left. The couple saw the footage and thought that it was really funny. And they were actually really happy that it had been something that was kind of,
Hilarious.
hilarious on the lighter side, because they had been shaken up by the earthquake that had happened. And so they were just really happy that it was a moose. It was something positive. Allie Johnstone actually said, her quote was, "I was in bed when the earthquake happened, so I ran out of bed and we're getting kind of our way back into life right now. And after hearing all of these aftershocks, other things that come from earthquakes." And she said, so at that point of night, it was just like, what now?
Right. Oh,
You're just
gosh.
like, you've had an earthquake. There are aftershocks of an earthquake. You were trying to sleep,
Right,
really.
exactly.
And then you hear like someone ding-dong ditching your door.
Seriously. And then with the with earthquakes just messing up your house, it could have been like electrical or something, and that could have been
Right.
like frustrating too if they didn't find the moose and just be like, "God, now it's another thing we have to fix." Oh, that's just frustrating.
Right. You have to go through all the wires and just, it was
Yeah.
just a moose.
I'm glad it was just the moose.
Yeah. I'm sure they were too. So I'm glad that that's all it was. That would be really frustrating otherwise.
Right. And it's a fun story to
It
tell.
is.
Like,
And it's on camera, so you can actually see it. I saw the video online. It's pretty cute.
I saw part of it. I just saw the picture of the mooses behind, like in their
security camera.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, look at that. But it was like a large moose. Like
Oh,
the
it's
antlers
big.
were huge and
Yeah.
everything. I was like, holy wow.
Yeah, it just got stuck in that tiny space.
I know, huh? He just wanted to say hi, guys.
Yeah.
Next time, leave some food.
Right, he couldn't even turn around. He was trying to
Exact-
get to the door.
Yeah.
He couldn't even turn around.
It was cute, though. I'm glad
was
it
cute.
turned out positively. For
I
them.
know. I'm glad. I'm glad it's on camera. I mean, talking about another story about being in small spaces.
Yeah.
Our next story is about a man who got stuck in a grease vent for 2 days.
How does that happen?
I don't know, but this is actually kind of gross. So this happened in California, and officials rescued a man on Wednesday who tried to break into a Chinese restaurant via a grease vent, but then became stuck for 2 days. So, like in restaurants, there's like, you have like the hood, the exhaust fan,
Yeah.
from like a stove or something. And then from that, there comes like a little tunnel that takes the smoke out of your restaurant or out of
Right.
your house. So the man tried to break in through that like grease vent, kind of like in the movies when spies are in like the air ducts.
Yeah.
He was trying to do that, but he was too big.
Oh,
So
no.
he got stuck, like his feet. You could kind of see his shoes from at the restaurant. If he removed like a part of the ceiling, you could see his foot.
Oh, gosh.
And then if you looked straight down into the vent, you could see like the top of his head and his arms kind of
Oh,
like sticking out.
no.
And he was covered in grease.
Oh, gross.
Just
Blech.
covered.
That's nasty.
Yeah, it was not good. And the call actually came in from a citizen in San Lorenzo, which is in the San Francisco Bay Area. And they called authorities around 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning because apparently they heard a faint voice calling for help. And it was coming from the restaurant, which I guess it was empty. Like it was, I don't know if it was just closed at the time or out of business. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Which if it was out of business, I don't know why you're trying to break in through the grease.
Right,
vent.
exactly. What are you trying to
I don't know what you're
accomplish
trying to get. But so apparently someone just was going by the restaurant and heard a little voice calling for help, which is so sad. And after going up a ladder, they found a 29-year-old man trapped in the vent who was completely unable to move, completely covered in grease and oil. And it took the firefighters almost an hour to get the man out.
Oh my gosh.
And when they got him out, he was like exhausted, dehydrated, which you can imagine,
2
right?
days.
2 days.
Yeah.
And that's not like you're in a pleasant place.
Right.
You're trapped in grease. That's terrible.
Right.
And obviously he had like struggled, to get out.
Exactly.
Which obviously anyone would when they're stuck.
I don't really feel bad because I'm like, you kind of deserve it if you're trying to break into a place, but you
Right.
are so lucky somebody heard you
I know.
like asking for help or screaming for help.
Yeah.
Especially if it was closed. It's like, who
Right.
goes there?
I know. That feels so bad. I do feel bad that happened, but also because that's a terrible thing to happen.
Right.
But why were you breaking in? Also, if it's
Exactly.
vacant, can't you just break in a different way?
Right.
Like, did you think you were cool going in through the ceiling? I
and
don't
through
know.
a grease vent? Maybe
Oh,
did
God.
he know it was a grease vent? Maybe he
Probably
thought it was
not.
a regular vent.
Probably. Oh, that's so gross.
That is.
And the officials have said that it's likely that the man would not have survived another day because of the circumstances of like no food or water, just
Yeah.
being physically trapped. And he was taken to a hospital for treatment after they found him. So like the police are investigating this, but when I read the story, it sounded like he was still in the hospital.
Oh,
So I'm
wow.
sure he was really dehydrated and probably, I don't know, heat stroke or
Right,
something,
right.
And I'm sure he'll need physical therapy after that. He'll definitely
yeah.
need a bath for sure,
Oh,
no matter
yeah.
what.
with like dish soap or something, because it's like regular soap does not get that grease off.
I know. It'll be like all of the Dawn commercials where they walk the little animals that get stuck in like a oil spill.
Right. Oh, poor guy.
I know. And they are conducting a trespassing and vandalism investigation.
Yeah.
And they're not sure if the suspect intended to commit burglary. And if the person who was trapped did try and commit burglary, the case will be submitted to the district attorney for investigation.
Yeah.
So, and then I actually read some of the comments underneath the story, and there was kind of like a social media fight, because some people were saying that the guy shouldn't be punished because he was punished enough for being trapped in a grease vent. And the other people were like, yeah, of course you should be punished. You try to break in. But I guess it's unclear if they were breaking in. Like, it could have been like a homeless person trying to like get shelter. I don't know. Or someone who's just kind of crazy.
I still think he should get sentenced with something.
Right,
I don't know.
Right.
If it
I feel like, yeah, if you're trying to break in somewhere.
Yeah, if you're trying to break in, I don't know. They'll find out more questions, I'm sure, when they ask him. But then at that point, it's like he'll probably just lie about it.
Right. He doesn't want to be trapped anywhere else.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go to jail.
He's like, no, I slipped and fell and got stuck in there.
I was on the roof for no reason and fell into a vent.
I know.
Yeah. Man, good luck, guy.
Seriously,
I don't know how that's going to go for you. Probably not well.
Right. I hope
after you got the grease off.
Yeah, I hope he's healthy and well after, but whatever consequences happen afterwards, it's like, good luck, because you kind of brought that on yourself.
And that's a case that I feel like is on the news.
Yeah.
You know, so people are probably not going to be rooting for you.
Yeah, exactly. And not even like the prosecutors. Yeah, they're just going to be like, nope, give him everything he's got.
Yeah, that's rough. So before we go on break, I just want to mention a great deal that we have going on right now with Audible. The holidays are coming up, and it's probably time to start buying gifts if you haven't already. By the time you listen to this, I hope that you have. But you should be looking for gifts for your family members, friends, and also for yourself. It's probably a great time to treat yourself with all the chaos of the holidays. So right now, for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Audible for just $6.95 a month, which is more than half off the regular price. This is a great deal if you've thought about Audible before. It's a great way to get in reading when you're not able to physically sit down and read a book. If you just want to listen, I mean, you're listening to a podcast. You probably will enjoy listening to a book on Audible. And to get this great deal, you can go to audible.com/GSMC social, or you can text GSMC social to 500-500 to get this great deal. Again, that is audible.com/GSMC social, or texting GSMC social to 500-500. So I hope you guys have a chance to get this great deal, and we're going to take a quick break and then come right back with more social media news.
What happens to your decision-making when you drink? Well, after one drink, you feel confident. A few more, and calling your ex at 1 a.m. seems like a great idea. And you're pretty sure the secret to a great taco is 4-day-old macaroni. The bottom line, drunk you doesn't make great decisions. So you're risking a DUI or worse if you count on him to get you home. Plan before you party. Get home safe. Brought to you by Washington Target Zero.
Welcome back to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast. We are continuing our social media news stories with one that is strange, sad, and also, okay, let me just say, this is about a man in Florida. I don't know why all of these strange stories start with a man in Florida.
Right.
I feel like I've seen a spoof about this, about like, Florida man does this, Florida man does that. Like, I feel like I've seen it on social media about all the things Florida man does.
Yeah. Or just Florida person.
Yeah.
Florida man,
gosh.
Florida person. What's going on, Florida?
It's rough right now for Florida. I thought it was just senior citizens, but apparently there is a Florida man who has stabbed a woman with a fork because of an undercooked baked potato.
Oh my gosh. Throw it in the microwave.
I know, right? Right? There's so many better ways to deal with this.
Right.
Okay. So, in Nassau, Nassau? I don't know how to say that.
Sure.
In a county in Florida, deputies have also, if I'm not saying this county right, you know who you are.
Right.
I'm sure if you know the story, you know who you are.
Right, exactly.
This happened in your town, you know. A man was arrested and accused of stabbing a woman in the head with a fork because of an undercooked baked potato. The deputies have arrested 36-year-old Kenneth David Crumpton Jr., charging him with aggravated battery. I mean, yes, a fork. That's definitely aggravated battery.
Right.
And according to the arrest report, which was obtained by Fox 30 News, the victim told a waitress that Crumpton had stabbed her in the head with a fork after they got into an argument over a baked potato. So this wasn't even the person who served him the potato.
Right. What restaurant was this? Did it say?
I don't know. It didn't say.
So she was just a server?
No, it was a woman who I guess was eating with the perpetrator.
Okay.
And the guy was served the baked potato. He got into an argument with the woman at his table about the potato, and then he stabbed that woman with the fork.
Gosh. So she was just there joining his
there.
So was he in a group of people?
I don't know if it was they knew each other.
It was just somebody he was arguing with.
I feel like they might have known each other because I feel like it's not very common to have group tables.
Right.
I feel like it's not super common. And I feel like if there's someone at the table who looks a little off, you're not going to sit next to them.
Right, exactly.
If it looks like he might stab you with a fork, you don't sit nearby.
Exactly. And he will.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're in Florida.
If you have these inklings, don't do it. It's not worth the risk.
Oh,
you never know when a
gosh.
fork's going to come at you. But apparently, this woman then reported it to the waitress. But of course, this man disputed the incident, saying that he just threw the fork and it glanced off her head, which that's still not good. Why are you throwing fork over a potato?
Seriously,
like
that could have
said, just microwave it.
Right, and that could have done serious damage. If it would have hit her in the eye, in the throat.
I know.
Oh
it's
my
not
gosh.
better that you're throwing it. You shouldn't throw utensils. It's like a child.
Right.
I don't know why you're throwing
fork.
things. Yeah, anyway.
Wow.
So then he claimed that he had just thrown it and it had just brushed her, But then deputies, after they investigated it, they said the victim had multiple stab wounds and visible blood on her head.
Multiple stab
multiple.
wounds. So it wasn't just one time.
It wasn't just one stab.
Right.
That's terrible.
Well, unless it was the fork, the spike thingies.
Oh, it could have been they're just four
little
holes in a row. That's multiple stab
right.
wounds.
But if this was at a regular restaurant, I'm sure they have cameras around.
I mean, potentially. Or if it's not a great restaurant, they probably have terrible forks.
Right.
So maybe it didn't have, maybe it wasn't very sharp. I'm not sure.
What is going on, Kenneth?
I know. Apparently, the woman refused treatment when authorities came. She refused to be treated for her wound. I mean, also, I guess any head wound will bleed a lot, so hopefully it wasn't too bad. Hopefully it looked worse than it was. I don't know. I mean, that's also weird. Someone was like, oh, is that a bite wound on your head? No, it's a fork.
Exactly. But, I mean, she could have I understand that, because if it was a head wound and then it was bleeding, if it wasn't that bad, I would have just put pressure on it, and because I'm not going to get charged for you to treat me to something I could do myself. Stop it.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it wasn't that bad. Hopefully it was just
But
shocking.
seriously, you really went as far as to stab in the head. You stabbed someone in the head.
Also, I don't know why he was stabbing her over the potato. She didn't bring him the potato, so I don't know if maybe they got into an argument where he was like, the potato's undercooked, and then she said, no, it's not.
Right.
And then that just caused an argument that had to do with stabbing.
Oh, that's so petty.
I don't know. I'm not crazy.
Right.
I can't think of any argument that would cause me to stab someone with a fork.
Right.
But, I don't know.
I feel like it would be that's how the argument escalated, because it's why would you? Well, what happened? We start arguing about a cold potato. Okay, and then what happened after that? And then they just wrote that part. Man stabs a woman because undercooked potato.
It probably escalated.
Yeah. But it's what is going on? Talk to the people who own the restaurant or the chef, whatever.
Right. You can send it back.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying you should do that all the time, but you can.
Yeah.
You could just ask them to heat up the plate.
Exactly. It's not that
happens.
serious.
Oh,
and
gosh.
if this lady was not with him, she should have just minded her own business.
Right. Exactly.
Not saying this is her fault, but if people are complaining about cold food, let them complain and just tune them out.
Right.
Tune them out.
Yeah, I'm not the kind of person that would get into that kind of
Me either.
fight in public.
Yeah.
I
would check my own food.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Kind of feel it.
Right.
See if you want it sent back too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. That's oh God, that's so
I don't know. That's crazy though.
Oh,
It's like,
Florida.
but you have to stabbing somebody is personal too. It's not like you know what I mean. Like you can
You're
shoot
close.
somebody exactly,
Yeah.
and then you like feel. Oh no,
Oh,
that's
God.
there's something wrong with that man. Like you know, and then with a fork too. Like I understand like with a knife because they slide in or something, but a fork,
Right.
They only go so far, and
Right, that's true. I feel like he had to have a knife. I mean, maybe it was just a butter knife, though.
Right,
which
yeah,
wouldn't
that
be any
wouldn't-
better.
yeah.
That's also that'd be terrible. That would really hurt to be stabbed with a fork.
Right.
It's not like it's sharp.
It's not. And
No.
then can you imagine like what if they were like sitting across from each other and then he just like gets and stands up and just kind
Right?
of stabs her like you know when you like,
Like a
stab your
potato.
potato? Yeah. That's horrible.
It just got stabbed like a potato.
I know.
Oh God.
Oh my god. I hope she's okay.
I hope she's okay. Man, that guy needs to be charged with. I mean, I guess they're saying battery, but yes,
Right.
definitely.
Aggravated something. Aggravated.
Oh,
If any
yeah.
of you don't know what that means, anything with aggravated in front of it means with a weapon of any sort.
Oh,
so, yes, your fork was that
Yes.
weapon.
Yes. A fork is a weapon. Oh,
Yes.
It can be. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, poor lady.
Okay, we're gonna start on another story. This is more positive. I'm happy to share this
Good.
story. This is one that I've seen on social media, and not just have I've seen the story written about this story, but this also involves a social media campaign, which I think is really great. So this started in October of this year, and a little girl, her name is Zainab Mughal, and she was given a diagnosis of neuroblastoma, which is an aggressive cancer that will often occur in children, which is so sad. I know this starts sad. It gets a little bit better.
Okay.
I mean, a little bit. So doctors said that there was a tumor that had been growing inside this little girl's abdomen for nearly half of her life.
Oh no, how
It's really
sad.
sad.
Wait, how old was she?
She's pretty young. I want to say she looked like she was like maybe 2 years old, I think.
Oh, so half her life, just a year then.
Yeah, so like for a year.
I'm like, it's no big deal. No, that's serious. Okay, sorry.
We don't need to hear about that.
I know.
Ariane thinks it's sad. She does.
It is. It's horrible.
So this is a 2-year-old. So I guess it was growing for like a year. Yeah, for like a year. So the doctors said that fighting this tumor would require 2 bone marrow transplants and a series of transfusions, which would replenish her blood supply, because she would be also doing chemotherapy to shrink the tumor.
Right.
And so she would need, I guess she would just need like a blood transfusion and a constant blood supply, like a supply
Right.
of donor blood.
Sure.
For like all the procedures she'd have to go under. So that would be the bone marrow transplant, the chemotherapy, transfusions, all those things that would require additional blood in order for her body to survive everything that she has to go through.
Right.
And so doctors said she needed this blood supply. However, there was a problem because the little girl's, let's see. Yeah. So the girl's parents were tested, but they were not compatible blood donors.
Oh, sad. That's like your first line of defense.
That's
too.
definitely the first go-to, and that's
Right.
why they were tested, and then they came back negative, so they weren't a
Yeah.
match. And then family members and friends all came into the hospital to be tested, but none of them were either.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are they sure that's her child? Oh,
Well,
no.
it's weird because, like, normally, like, yeah, you do go to parents first.
Yeah, exactly. She's
and it's
not
pretty
adopted?
likely, yeah, apparently. I mean, they're saying no.
That's not funny. I'm adopted. I can make that joke. So I wouldn't be like, test my mom. No, I know it's not going to work. Okay, stop it.
But even, like, other family members and, like, I guess, I'm sure once they went through the family members, they called in everyone they knew
Yeah.
to come test,
Oh.
and none of them were a match, which is really sad. Also,
is
I'm
sad.
sorry to leave you all on a cliffhanger, but before we go to a break, I just want to mention that with the holidays coming up, it would be a great time to look into giving the gift of Audible, which is a wonderful gift if you're on the go all the time, or you enjoy books, but you don't have time to necessarily sit down and read, or maybe you know someone in your life who's also busy all the time, always on the go, and doesn't have time to get a book as well. But they can have Audible, which is a great deal. You can use it on your phone. They have all different kinds of books. They have mysteries, thrillers, memoirs, all of those things. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Audible for just $6.95 a month, which is more than half off of the regular price. And if you want to get this deal, you can go to audible.com/GSMC Social, or you can text GSMC Social to 500-500. Again, that is go to audible.com/GSMC Social or text GSMC Social to 500-500, and this will get you that great deal, and that way you can give the gift of Audible to your friends and family and also to yourself. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and finish off our social media news story.
What happens to your decision making when you drink? Well, after one drink, you feel confident. A few more, and calling your ex at 1 a.m. seems like a great idea. And you're pretty sure the secret to a great taco is 4-day-old macaroni. The bottom line, drunk you doesn't make great decisions. So you're risking a DUI or worse if you count on him to get you home. Plan before you party. Get home safe. Brought to you by Washington Target Zero.
Welcome back to the social media news story. We're going to pick up where we left off before our break. We are talking about a little girl who is in need of blood donations to fight the cancer that she has. So as we said before the break, her parents were not matches, her family members were not matches, so they didn't have the right blood type for her.
Yeah.
And nor did their friends or family, or other friends and other family members. So as I mentioned, this little girl is 2 years old, and she is at the center of a worldwide search for donors who have the same extremely rare blood that can help her. And as I've mentioned, her battle against cancer is dependent on this blood, but it also, this battle to get her the blood is dependent on statistics and probabilities with which her parents have become all too familiar, because this has gone on for a while now.
Right.
They need the donations, but she has a really rare form of blood. So the thing is that most people who will have a suitable blood type are of Pakistani, Indian, or Iranian descent. And so this is all according to One Blood, which is a non-profit blood center. And this is the center that's leading the search for blood for this little girl. But even in the populations, as I mentioned earlier, Pakistan, India, and Iranian, even in those populations, fewer than 4% of people have blood that is like this little girl, Zainab. And they have only 4% of people have the blood that her body will not reject. So
4% of people.
Yes, so 4% of the people.
Oh my gosh.
Fewer than 4%. So 4% or less will have a blood that her body will not reject because her blood is very rare. And I don't actually know what blood type it is, but it's not. It sounds like it's not just like A, B, or O. You know, it's like a subset of that type.
Oh, crazy.
So it would be like blood type B and then like a little branch of that.
Right.
Which is the extremely rare type.
Right. So her body would reject, like if it was a subgroup of B, it would reject like just regular B.
Yes.
Oh, that's so hard.
So it's super rare. And her family doesn't have, no one in her family has that. So there is, like for most people who get like blood transfusions, and it happens all the time, they can just get a general match, like you were saying.
Okay,
like if they have type B blood, they can just get B.
Or just get that O that everybody can use.
Yeah. And apparently there are 360 different antigens which are on the surface of blood cells, but most people's bodies won't respond negatively to those little markers. But I guess her body will.
Oh, wow.
So there is a small percentage of people, including this girl, Zainab, who produce antibodies in the presence or absence of certain antigens. And that prompts the body to reject the blood. And there is a network of blood centers that specialize in rare blood. And they keep a database of scarce combinations of antibodies. And then they use that information to shuttle blood across the country to patients who need it.
So do they not have any that match hers there?
I guess not, because they also keep, so I'm assuming they keep blood, but they also keep a database. So like if they're like, oh, this person needs this blood and we don't have it, we know who we can go to get the blood. So a donation. So it sounds like they have both. And it looks like the Center One Blood is working with the American Rare Donor Program, which is an organization that connects donors with patients like all across the world, so not just in America.
Right.
And apparently, according to these databases, there are 3 compatible donors that have been found.
That's in the whole world.
At least in their entire database.
Oh, what? 3?
3. So 1 lives in London, and then 2 are in the United States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is crazy. So only 3 people they have identified. And rules limit how frequently donors can give blood.
Right.
And her doctors, Zainab, they would have to line up as many as 10 donors to ensure that whenever she needed a blood transfusion, she could get it.
And she only has 3.
She only has 3.
Oh my gosh.
And the blood is a missing piece of treatment, of the treatment plan.
Right.
The doctors say is already, it's already working to shrink her tumor, which is the good news.
Yeah.
So the treatment plan that they have going on is already working, and to continue it, they need this piece of like the consistent blood donations.
Right.
Which is also crazy. Just 3 people.
So if you're that person in London or the other 2 in America, in the United States, please help this girl out.
Yeah, I'm sure that they've already been contacted.
Sure.
But it's still not enough. You know?
Give what you can. Give all you can.
Yeah, please.
Don't die, but help.
Be generous.
Right.
'Tis the season.
It really is.
So more than 1,000 people of Iranian, Indian, or Pakistani descent have donated blood in an attempt to find matches for her.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Because these are the people of like certain groups that are most likely to have the type of blood that she needs.
Sure.
And her parents and family members have launched an awareness campaign, and they're using like pictures of their little girl and different stories because she looks adorable.
Right.
And they're using all of these photos and resources to try and get people to donate. And apparently it's just the website is full of really cute baby pictures, which I would imagine because she's like 2 years old. So they've said that it's adorable. And she is still too young to really understand what's going on and like how like really the gravity of her situation.
Right.
And her father hopes that one day he can explain to her like how all these people that she didn't know came together to try and save her life. And a quote from the father is, "What you're doing to save a human life, to save my daughter's life, is amazing. Once my daughter grows, I'm going to remind her that the effort was made for you to save her life."
Right.
Which is so cute.
And a worldwide thing, too, is like,
yeah.
Humanity does care.
Yeah, so it's spreading across social media. If you see it, I mean,
share it.
Please
something.
share it.
Yeah.
Please get tested, which you should get tested anyway.
Right.
It's really helpful. If you're able to give blood, you really should. It's really important. We always need, either a database where people they can go to or like, which I didn't know they had this rare like donor program.
Me either. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. And I'm really glad to hear that they have that because if we didn't have that, they might not have even have been able to found the 3 people.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So please go get tested, go donate. And again, if you see this campaign, please share it.
Right.
Again, the girl's name is Zainab Mughal. So if you just Google that or just Google like parts of the story, like,
right.
Little girl with
2-year-old
rare blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure it would come up.
Right.
So please click and share.
And encourage other people to share or give, if they're able to give blood, encourage them to get tested to see if they're matched also, because anything helps for this little girl apparently at this time.
Yeah.
So with just the 3 people and they need 10. So
right.
Yeah,
right. And I'm sure this is not the first time this kind of situation has happened or, will happen.
Exactly.
So it's good for other cases as well.
Right. And for you to know what blood type you are.
It is important.
A lot of people don't know what blood type they are.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And so just to know what blood type you are, just in case anything should happen, probably, or just peace of mind or for knowledge purposes, what blood type you are and if you're able to help anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Or if you happen to have someone who has a rare blood type, you're going to have to know.
Exactly.
So the doctors can get you what you need if you need it.
Right. And in the future, everybody gets sick in their 80s, I
guess.
Yeah.
So when you get up there, you'll probably need it.
Right.
So thank you all so much for listening. I really hope that you guys have a good rest of your day.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Social Media Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.